You've got it locked to New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1, New York.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
There you go. There it is. Too loud, man. Too loud. Give it up for, yes, yet another Crash Talk Tuesday night. With yours truly, Chris Crash Jesus Taylor, with you in HTLA Studio 2 in downtown Manhattan. 29 degrees right now, Central Park. Clear, but oh so cold. Yes. Welcome to tonight's show, Crash Talk, time for a change. And no, I'm not talking about politics. No, we're not. No, we're exploring the wonderful world of, well, a whole bunch of things, actually. But the interesting thing is that it's really, just a show about the transgender. Yes. I'm wrestling transgenders tonight, yes, without oil. I'm having a look at the evolution of the expansion of the human being, or ridiculous bullshit designed to kowtow to every oddity out there and have that good old bandwagon parade, rights protest complete with burning crosses and popcorn. That's right. That's the show tonight. So if you're easily offended, well, you're listening to the wrong show, because Crash Talk's all about offending, I guess. Actually, Crash Talk's all about my opinion. And you got my opinion tonight on Crash Talk. Take it home, baby. Take it on down frickin' home. Crash talking, theme rockin'. That's the good stuff right there, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yes, it is. Crash driving. Yes, there is the tune right there. You are listening, of course, to HTLA Radio 1 New York at HTLARadio1.com. And, yeah, mighty cold out there in Central Park tonight. Wouldn't want to be the guy out there with no wine. Definitely want wine when you're in the park. Today is December 30th, 2014. Almost saying goodbye-bye to 2015. That'll be tomorrow. Yeah. And New York's ball is ready. That's right, because when you only have one, you make sure it's ready at all times. Yes, there's the little drum from Coffee and Cigarettes. I thought I'd throw that in case I can annoy anybody further. But tonight's show is, it's one of a serious nature. I'm sure I'm going to get all kinds of whack jobs listening to this because of the certain tag words that we're using on today's show. But hey, that's okay because, my opinion should count to the whack jobs too. Yeah. I should start my own Whack Jobs Anonymous. Mm-hmm. Yes, we should. Well, I guess I got to get on with it because it's a big show. Tonight's episode is, of course, as always, brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City, giving you 8 locations to serve your coffee and baked goods needs. And if you again haven't tried Tim Hortons coffee yet, and think Dunkin' Donuts is where it's at, baby, let me introduce you to some Canadian tradition. That's the kind of Canadian tradition I'm talking about right there. Yeah. Like Cher and William Shatner. Oh, wait, that's Celine Dion and William Shatner. Whatever, I always get those mixed up. Yeah, that's just me. But no, tonight, pretty big show, and I've kind of skirted around it, for all the time I've been doing Crash Talk, really. I've always tried to find those other things to talk about. Race inequality and all that good fun stuff, and school shortcomings and travesties within our criminal justice system. But tonight I'm going the sex route because I think it kind of pertains to almost everything else I just mentioned. If you look at the broader scope, and that's what I'm hoping to achieve tonight. Now, tonight's show essentially comes to us due to a news story that came out today from Ohio about a transgender girl. I guess for legal reasons, throughout this show, when I refer to the boy-girl, I'm talking about a specific transgender person, I guess, is how I would put it. But it's raised some serious concern right here at home. Yeah, and I'll tell you about that, too. But first, the news story that drew my attention to the tackling and the wrestling thereto of the, without oil, of the transgender issue tonight. The story starts off about a suicide. Yeah. Suicide of a 17-year-old in Ohio. Yeah. In life, Leila Alcorn felt alone. Born male, she feared she would never be the woman she felt like inside. In death, the transgender 17-year-old, born Josh Alcorn, wanted to make sure others never felt the way she did. The only way I will rest in peace is if one day transgender people aren't treated the way I was. That they're treated like human beings with valid feelings and human rights, Alcorn wrote in a post on Tumblr. Her parents, she wrote, wanted her to be a perfect little straight Christian boy. My death needs to mean something, she wrote in a post, which she scheduled to appear the day after her death. Her final public words were, quote, "Fix society, please." Now, I don't know if any listeners out there are new to HTLA, but we're pretty traditional around these parts. Yes, not Christian per se, no, but just traditionalists. We believe that mom and dad should stay frickin' married, and the family unit should be that family unit, and the kids should have the support they need from the nurturer, of course, being mom, and the disciplinarian being dad. But that can't happen anymore. No, society has gone awry. So, to that, Josh, or Alicia, or whatever the name... Oh, Leila, thank you. Alcorn. Fix society, please, is a statement that I couldn't agree with more. On Sunday, just before 2:30 a.m., Alcorn was struck and killed by a tractor-trailer on I-71 in Ohio, about 4 miles from her home in Kings Mills. No charges have been filed to the driver, and the State Highway Patrol continues to investigate. Her body was sent to Montgomery County Coroner for an autopsy, which will take several weeks. She was a super bubbly and upbeat with a really brash sense of humor. She could make anyone laugh, said Abigail Jones, 17, one of Alcorn's co-workers and friends. They were caricature artists at Kings Island, an Ohio amusement park. Jones even drew Alcorn as Elsa from Frozen, her favorite thing ever. Why did I know Disney was going to be involved in here somewhere? Now, the duo was close, going to see movies together, getting ice cream and texting. I guess that's what determines close these days. In July, Alcorn told Jones that she was transgender. Yeah, this is important, folks. Remember this. Alcorn's family declined to comment. In a statement via the King's local school district, they requested privacy. According to a statement, Alcorn was most recently enrolled as an 11th grader at the Ohio Virtual Academy, an online school. Yes, homeschooling. There's another underscore I want you to remember for later in the show. Joshua Alcorn, the originally, well, I'm sorry, he's a boy, okay? Joshua Alcorn was a sweet, talented, tender-hearted 17-year-old, the statement from King's read. Counselors will be available when students return from winter break. What? Yeah, you heard me. School counselors will be available when students return from winter break because this is effing them up. Mm-hmm. It is. And rightly so, I think. That would kind of screw me up, I think. Well, hell, I'm going to be honest. It screws me up now, and I'm 47. What the hell, people? There are no national statistics about how many transgender people commit suicide, partly because it's not always known. In 2010, the National Center for Transgender Equality, wow, I didn't even know that existed, and the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, okay, that sounds a little militant, and I didn't know they existed either. Well, anyway, they reported that 41% of 7,000 transgender people surveyed had in the past attempted suicide. An analysis of the survey responses by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and UCLA's Law School Williams Institute last January showed transgender people who experienced rejection by family and friends, discrimination, victimization, or violence have a higher risk of attempting suicide. Really, you don't say. You know what? The average Joe on the street who experiences rejection by family and friends, discrimination, victimization, or violence, they also have a higher risk of attempting suicide, you educational brainiacs, you. But I'll digress and move on and finish this story. Cincinnati Councilman Chris Steelbach, the city's first openly gay councilman, has taken on Alcorn's cause. In a post on Facebook, yes, the new national news service, Facebook, shared more than 4,700 times, Steelbach said Alcorn's death shows just how hard it is to be a transgender today in the U.S. Well, to you, sir, I would submit that it's just hard to be anybody today in the U.S., but again, I'll digress and finish this up by saying the final quote. By reading her letter, Leela makes it clear that she wants her death to, in some ways, help trans civil rights movements, Steelbach wrote. Trans civil rights movements. Now, these are very important things that I'm having you underscore and earmark in this show, so make sure you pay attention. So that's the story that drew my attention to transgender joy. All right? Transgender joy. Good evening and happy wishes, of course, to Miss Devalon Crawford. Thank you for joining us on the show tonight. And I'm glad you did because, God, please hold my hand and help me through this. Normally on Crash Talk, I find a story and I rip it all apart. Yes, I do. I just go nuts and I just spew my opinion till the cows come home. I think I have some recordings of cows here somewhere. And that's all I do, but I'm kind of changing up the format of Crash Talk, I think, for 2015, and I'm going to, I don't know, try and attempt a little bit of growth on my side. I'm going to try and attempt a little bit more educational programming. I'm going to try a little more fact-based programming, just so I can better cover and better understand a lot of these issues that we deal with on Crash Talk, and indeed, thereby doing that, convey that to you, the listener, and give you more bang for your buck. Yes, I know it's free. Shut up. So tonight, I'm going to open up with a little personal story that pertains directly to this story, and We're going to look at some of the things around transgender, transsexuals. We're going to look at things around the Westboro Baptist Church. We're going to listen to a transgender named Gigi, who I found on YouTube, and I've got to say, and I don't feel uncomfortable saying this, I would have sex with that boy all over the place. Oh my God. Women could only hope to look this incredibly beautiful. And I'm talking everything, the cheekbones, the eyes, the eyebrows, the hair, the clothes, the presentation, the breasts, the whole ball of wax. It's just stunning, and it's damn confusing. So we're going to look at all that stuff. We're going to look at rights. Yes, the issue of rights, to which I'm really confused on, because I have to be honest with everybody here. If you're a human being, if you have two legs, I don't care what's between them, and you're walking around and talking, you're a human being. And if you're in the United States, you have those rights at birth. But there's strange things happening here, and I'm trying to come to grips with them and understand them in hopes that more of you out there can understand, and maybe by doing that, with that understanding, we can come to some sort of consensus that doesn't need to result in completely turning our entire culture and society upside down every time somebody has a new little idea. And I would almost submit in this early point of the show that, yeah, this transgender thing is an idea because I can't say who, but I have someone close to me who initially, at a very young age, decided to tell everybody that they're lesbian. Now, this is, of course, before this person had any sexual experiences whatsoever, I might add. So all of a sudden, yep, she's a lesbian. Okay, all right, we'll go with that. Slightly before she announced that she was a lesbian, she was apparently straight, had a little boyfriend. They had their first kiss. Oh, it was nice. But then the little boyfriend, a couple of weeks later, because you know how that happens when you're 12, 13, 14, things just, well, they're the end of the world in the moment. But, next week it's a whole new different can of worms. So that first boy must have been the love of her life, because then, of course, she announced shortly after she was a lesbian. And she was all about gay rights, and we'd have to sit there for hours and listen all about gay rights. And you can't say things like that because of gay rights, and gays have the right to blah, blah, blah. It was just never ending. But then what? You might ask. Well, then, as with all things when you're 12, 13, 14, well, that changed too shortly after that, didn't it? Yes. Do you know what that lovely girl came up and said to me then? Well, I'm gender fluid now. I'm gender fluid now. Oh. Well, let's see now. What does Crash's common sense say to him about that? Well, gender fluid. Okay, so that means you're a little bit of penis and a little bit of vagina all rolled into one. You're a penis vagina milkshake. You're a what? I don't know. See, I'm confused. I was lost. And that's where I've stayed until pretty much this day. I'm confused and lost. So I've never had, this is kind of important too, I guess, in this little growth study here. I've never had a problem with gays. No. And some of them lifelong friends. And I guess that would have to do, with everything I understand to this point in life, that would have to do with me being comfortable in my own skin with my own sexuality, right? Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm comfortable in my sexuality, and I'm not offended or afraid of or hate gays in any way. This is fine. Okay, so you're with me so far. When the gay marriage thing started going around, I didn't have a problem with that either. No. I think the reason is because, hey, I thought, what the heck? I mean, okay, well, if you're gay and you're with somebody else who's gay, it's just logical you get married, isn't it? Of course it is. So why would I have a problem with that? Well, I don't. All good. Let's move on. But wait, there's a whole ton of people that have problems with it, and not just for the usual religious reasons. No. There's a lot of people who don't even believe in God that absolutely hate gays. The Westboro Baptist Church comes to mind, but they're religiously affiliated, so, yeah. Well, I'm confused, and the confusion isn't going to clear up in the next 2 minutes, so we're going to go for our first commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue on in the exploration journey of gays, transgender, transsexuals, and indeed everything else that's all jammed into that jelly roll of joy. We'll be back in 2 minutes, gang.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions? Abundant with rich, fertile soil. What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
In this fast-paced, digital everything life, there's nothing like experiencing the world's finest journalism in its original form. So sign up today for as little as $3.80 a week to receive the greatest newspaper in the world and all the incredible experiences that come with it.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
The hot new accessory? Brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Too loud, man. Too loud. Coming back at you, HTLA Radio 1 Crash Talk on this Tuesday, December 30th. Time for a change. And, of course, we are talking about the transgender change. The only real fun kind of change there is. There you go. Who let the kids out? Arf, arf, arf. Yes. Sorry about the kids there. They should be in bed by now, but somebody is playing around with their new computer. Anywho, back on the show here, and we're talking the transgender, we're talking gay rights, we're talking gay, we're talking all kinds of strange things. Now, looking into this topic, it's interesting to note several things. That before 1989... there wasn't any record of any transgenders out there. Now, this is kind of interesting on a couple of reasons. The first, of course, is that the surgical expertise at which our medical profession was at the time was just breaking that barrier, just breaching that technological advantage, I guess they would say, of being able to take a man's penis, get rid of it, and make a fake vagina. Surgically and without the risk of death. Well, that's not true. There's a risk of death when you go for a wisdom tooth pull or something, but they actually got there. Yes, we can get rid of that penis and balls and put in a nice vagina. And it'll look nice, too. Hey, we can even give you Nina Hartley's vagina, the famous porn star. If you like the way that one looks, we can throw that on there. Just a couple of quick sockets and a snap-on wrench. I'm kidding, of course, but that's really when the technology was there to be able to do that. Now, the technology to be able to go the other way around didn't actually come for about another 10 years in any way, shape, or form that was actually something people of that persuasion would want. And then, of course, I'm talking about getting rid of the vagina and inserting somehow a penis and balls. Well, the fine folks at Nike have come up with the inflatable pump implant for men around this time period. And, of course, the technology from that little invention culminated into a penis that they would make for you out of your own tissue that you could pump up and utilize and as a man that used to be a woman. Man, this is really confusing and yeah. But again, it doesn't matter to me because I'm what I would consider a well-adjusted adult male who's comfortable in his sexuality and doesn't have any apparent feelings of having to be a woman. Now, don't get me wrong, I have thought about this. In my younger years, I thought to myself one day, I was like, hey, man, what would I do if I woke up tomorrow and I was still me, but I was a woman. I had this hot body and, ooh, what would I do? Well, I'd be in bed all day in front of a mirror masturbating my face off, wouldn't I? Absolutely. All those toys, all those new things, and, ooh, the sensations. And I'm not talking about being a post-op transsexual. No, I'm talking about just waking up and magically somehow, I don't know, alien abduction or something, just waking up and being this voluptuous, sexy girl. Woohoo. Yes, I would have a lot of fun. And I probably wouldn't get out of bed for, realistically, more like a week, knowing me. But that was just kind of a thing I thought about once and kind of carried on with my life. But this is different. There aren't any recorded cases before. Yes, there was instances as far back as the 1850s about men who dressed in women's clothing. But cross-dressing, according to cross-dressers, is completely different and nothing to do with this. So, the question hits me. What is this? What is this whole transgender thing? A couple of thoughts crossed my mind, and one of the thoughts was, with the gay rights movement becoming successful, which I didn't think it ever needed to be a movement anyway, but I guess society did, gays have their rights now. Okay. But again, they're people on two legs. Doesn't matter what's between their legs. And they can speak English and they're in the United States. Or Canada, because Canada has the Charter of Rights too. So, there's rights there. Heck, I think in most countries there's rights. And of course, with the world organizations, there are things like world rights, which are human rights, I should say, to be more specific. But, so what's all the fight for rights about? How many tens or hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent in courtrooms across this country and many others fighting for these elusive, out-of-the-ether gay rights? And when all that stuff started to happen, when it all started to become accepted and it all started to become mainstream, more and more, this transgender thing now has come out and become more mainstream. To the point where there's... I couldn't even count. I think I had like 6 million returns when I used the word transgender in a search on YouTube, and I came across Gigi. Oh my God, Gigi. Well, I'll say boy. This boy, who is now a beautiful... beautiful isn't even the word for it. Stunning, sensational, awe-inspiring. Model quality in New York would pale in comparison to how incredibly beautiful this person is on these YouTube videos, and she has a whole string of them. Been doing them for, the last 3 or 4 years. But if you just listen to some of them, which I'm going to make you, because this is kind of important, and it raises so many more questions. And then we're going to get into something after that that's even more disturbing and something I can't even begin to wrap my head around. And that's children. Yeah, not 13, 14, 15. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8. That age range there now, all of a sudden now, just within the last 2-3 years, there's a ever-growing movement for kids that age becoming the opposite sex from what they were born. It's kind of scary and kind of strange, and I don't know. We might be breaking new ground here, but check this out.
So I was on Twitter and I was asking you guys what kind of video you wanted to see. Do you want to see a makeup tutorial, anything like that? And you guys were like, no, we've had enough of the makeup tutorials. Enough already. We want to see a storytelling video. So I was like, okay, let me put my thinking cap on. And then this one came to me. Basically, the story happens in New York City, one of my favorite cities. I love, 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 love New York City. I was flown out for a fashion show there. So I was going to be there for 5 days. And I think it was like Monday to Friday or something like that. Or no, it's probably a weekend. Anyways, TMI. Flight goes okay, whatever. We got to the hotel, and I was disappointed with the hotel. I mean, I'm not being a brat or anything, but there was so much construction in the lobby, and there was literally dust everywhere. It was a nice hotel, I would say 4 or 5 stars, but there was construction everywhere. So am I supposed to wear a plastic bag over my dress when I'm supposed to be walking out? And I'm going to a fashion show, so I need to give fashion, so... Oh my god, I just saw the biggest bee of my life. But I obviously pushed through, it was fine. Another thing about this hotel is they made me sign so much. Well, obviously you have to sign, obviously on the dotted line for pure incidentals if you break a lamp or a painting or something like that. This hotel was so next level. They asked for my email, my home address, all this stuff. So I didn't even ask questions, I just remember filling it out, but I was like, Jesus, am I at the airport? Why am I filling out 8 lines of stuff? Me and my 2 friends head up to the hotel room. Everything is cool. So we're out and about doing our own thing, and this was, I remember, the day that we got there, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And not saying that I have so many guys texting my phone, because I really don't. I'm not one of those people at clubs to be like, yeah, I'm up, girl, here's my number, whatever. Sometimes I do, obviously, if they're really, really cute, and they're trustworthy, whatever, but I'm not one to be like, oh yeah, here's my number for everyone at the club.
Oh my god.
So this random number starts
oh my god. So,
and he was like, hey baby, long time no see.
So this is Gigi.
Oh my god, who is
and this is a,
I don't have your number saved. What, who are you?
She just won't shut up. She okay, yeah, I gotta turn that off. The story goes on, and she talks about, or he, I don't know. See, that's confusing, and with all these things about rights, we want our rights, damn it. Well, how the hell is this white cornbread boy from Canada gonna ever in a million years see you walking down the street in New York City, because that's where your stucker was? Oh my god. How am I ever going to look at you and think, oh, you're clearly a boy who's transgender, and I must afford you all the rights you have gained through hundreds of millions of dollars of court cases. How would I know that? I wouldn't know that. Unless, of course, I talk to her, him. I don't know. Him, her, I don't know. I don't know. But the way I look at it, and the only way I can look at it without going insane, is to do what I've always done and look at people and accept them for what they are and who they are. And if I see that, and I'm sorry this isn't television, I can't actually show you a picture of this amazing creature. I'm telling you. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. Oh my God. I'd just be like, don't even talk to me. Don't even, here, let's go to the hotel room. Let's get it on right now. Don't talk to me. And that scares me. Yes, it does. Well, not aside from the fact that I'm married, of course, but so maybe that wasn't the right way to put it. Crash talk, all right. Yes, I've crashed tonight. I'll be sleeping with the dog. Anywho, do you know what I mean? Do you guys understand? Like, I'm supposed to recognize you as separate from everybody else, but at the same time, I'm supposed to recognize you as equal to everybody else. But then at the same time, I'm supposed to freaking know you're transgender and you're proud of it and all that good stuff. And then I'm supposed to not only accept it and understand it, but like it. And if I don't like it, then I'm anti-PC. If I put a post on Twitter that, something that might be observed or construed as being offensive, I could lose my job for that. And don't think it wouldn't happen, because it's already happening across America. There are people losing their jobs, some of them pretty high up good corporate jobs, for the things they say on social media. Now, well, this is probably the main reason why Kate and I own HTLA, and this is what we do, because we can't fire ourselves for the things we say. But I'm really more concerned on a broader societal and cultural ramification scale, rather than, myself and Kate personally. I mean, personally, we've had to deal with all of this stuff. And, Kate brings up a very good point. She says, why should I have to explain to my 5-year-old son why Joey over there has 2 dads, or why Susie over there has 2 moms? She Kate wants the right to raise her children traditionally, and I think to myself, well, duh. Of course you have the right to do that. This is America. Well, guess what? The traditionalists don't anymore. No. Because now we have to explain to our children, well, that's Bob and Ted. That's little Billy's parents, Bob and Ted. And they're having an excellent adventure. And they're just lucky because, Bobby's got 2 dads. And Susie over here, well, she's got Jenna and Gigi. and it's really good because, Jenna and Gigi can both bake apple pies for little Susie, and that's a good thing. But we got to do that. But why do we got to do that? That's not fair. That's not everybody being equal. It's not. So I would submit that the more we try to be PC and give everybody equality, the more we're actually screwing up society on a broad scale. And no, I'm not sitting here saying that I have the psychological credentials to make these statements, and I'm not an expert in any way. I'm just coming to you as a good old average American white guy, or Canadian white guy, or, oh hell, I'll be from Norway. There, that's good. I am Ingemar Crash. And I'm just telling you how I see it. And how I see it is it's almost like everything that is done under the PC umbrella, and including things like racial rights, everything that is done to achieve this supposed holy grail of equality, we're just pushing further and further away from, because we don't understand that single common denominator, that we're not actually all equal. Now, I said this before on Crash Talk, actually just 2 weeks ago. This fight for equality is a ridiculous sham because we're not all equal. You know, do we all have the same rich parents up in the Hamptons sending us off to, I don't know, Yale and Harvard? Right? Do we have a summer home in Kennebunkport and we winter down in Florida? Do we have a private jet? Do we go and hang out with the royals on the weekends? Well, some do. It doesn't matter the percentage of us that do, but some do. Then on the other end of the scale, we have people with single parents, if any parents at all, or foster parents, even worse. And the cupboards are bare because the parent or parents have smoked everything on crack or shot it up their arm. Or worse, just aren't even at home. They've abandoned the kid for a couple of weeks in the home. These things happen, people. In America, it's safe to say that we live in the land of opportunity, and yes, that kid living by himself in his home now for 2 weeks because his parents have done an overdose in an alley somewhere and never came home, he could grow up to get a whole realm of opportunity and education and get that golden ring and live in a $6 million penthouse in New York City here. It's possible, but not too freaking likely. There's a reason why that 1% of the rich and elite stay rich and elite. They have the resources to send their children to educational facilities that don't dish out the crap that we subscribe to here in the United States for an educational system K through 12. That's an absolute joke. I've met, personally, grade 12 graduates in this country that wouldn't hold a candle to a grade 7 in Canada. And that is scary. Well, we'll explore all this fun and more when we come back from our second commercial break. We'll be back in 2.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Good morning. Welcome to Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where fresh always tastes better. What can I make you this morning?
How about our new flatbread breakfast paninis? Made fresh, just for you, with your favorite breakfast ingredients on maple or multigrain flatbread, then grilled to hot, melted perfection. Just $2.99. Who couldn't warm up to that?
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where quality really does meet value.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
In this fast-paced, digital everything life, there's nothing like experiencing the world's finest journalism in its original form. So sign up today for as little as $3.80 a week to receive the greatest newspaper in the world and all the incredible experiences that come with it.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
glasses, White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum, 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh yeah, too loud, baby. I'm just an old rocker from way back. What the hell do I care about all this crap? Well, I'll tell you what I care. And I'd like to welcome to the broadcast my one, my only, Kennedy Alexis Taylor. Yes, my sweet 14-year-old. And no, she is not who I am talking about when I say that person very close to me who is dealing with some of these issues themselves. No, she's completely well-adjusted and fine. Thank you very much. But we are talking the transgender thing. Yes, Crash Talk, time for a change. Gay rights, transsexuals, how this stuff is all coming together, where it's going. Really, when is the end going to be? I mean, there's some questions that occurred to me earlier today when I was preparing for this show. And I think the first question that kind of hit me, and I just wrote it down, where is it all coming from? You know, like I say, before 20-odd years ago, we never heard about this stuff, ever. And the term that gays used to use about being in the closet, well, that goes back into the 70s, and they were in the closet because they were hiding it from society because they felt inadequate as human beings because of their sexual preference. It wasn't society that put anything down on them that I can understand. If I'm wrong, you know, somebody speak up in the live chat there, or go to hit me up on an email, producer at htlaradio1.com, and let me know, because it's like it just came out of nowhere, and now it's like this international thing. There's rights for everybody, and rights for gays, and rights for transgender. You know, it seems to me that we have to understand what it is we're actually giving rights to before we can actually go ahead and do that. Well, there's a new study that highlights the complexity of transgender identities. And yes, I'm talking about of course, different identities within the transgender community on the boys and girls side, or, well, wait, both of those are the same side. Oh, somebody put a muzzle on those children. You know, the Valley Girl thing.
Hey guys, it's Gigi, and I'm feeling red today.
Oh, there you go. What's all that like? Oh my God. We stopped talking like that in the mid-'80s. Why did the transgenders pick this up as the way to talk? Is it to actually help the male, which Gigi is? Does it help him to, or her, or, see, does it help that person by talking that way to seem more feminine? I guess is a question I would ask, too. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Gigi, and today I'm going to be doing a very personal video.
I don't want to hear it. Anywho, do you know what I mean? And then, well, here it is. Like with gay people, you know, that they first used that Valley Girl thing. Yes, they did. There's two types of homosexual males. I'm going to talk about the homosexual males for a minute, because I don't care how hard they try. The homosexual females just can't sound like Ted from accounting. They can't do it. So let's talk about the boys for a minute. And like I say, I have friends who have been lifelong friends who are gay. I have a number of people I've worked with who are gay. Now, in that, I'm going to use my own experiences with these people directly as a gauge to speak from here when I talk about this in this segment. So I'm not trying to be a prick. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying. You know, I'm just a dude sitting here trying to understand. There you go. Now, with gay men, you have your top or your bottom. You have your masculine or your feminine. You have the one who dresses like a man, and you have the one that dresses somewhat in some elements like a woman. Now, don't get confused. I'm not saying that the feminine gay men dress up as women and try to be women, because that's not it. Okay, I know I'm bang on when I say this. They don't want to be women. But at the same point in time, between any two people, there's got to be that power exchange, right? Now, Kate and I happen to practice a lifestyle where the power exchange is, daddy's the man of the house, his word is the final word, and if not, there's punishment. And hey, it's great, it works with the kids too. In fact, the only element of that traditional lifestyle that the kids don't enjoy is the sexual aspect. That's right. I don't have sex with my kids. But you see, there's a bunch of people out there, when we discuss, our domestic lifestyle, people are often, well, that's wrong. That's some old Christian thing. What are you having sex with your kids? I don't know why it always goes to that, but it always goes to that. It's like people look for the worst they can find in you and bring that out in the open. There you go. You're having sex with all your children. Oh, you're transgender. Oh, you're gay. That's so gay. Do you know what I mean? Well, anyhow, there's the male homosexual, and then there's the female male homosexual, the feminine. And they do that so that they can better relate to each other. They can identify in a gay bar, well, that guy's pretty butch. Yeah, that's a term they use to identify a masculine or macho side of the gay coin for gay men. And then, of course, there's ones who, and I've actually known couples that do this, the other half, the feminine ones, the ones who like talking like this, oh my God. And yes, I know I do that well, thank you. That they will even carry purses, okay? So this is a woman's accessory, all right? But they will carry purses over their shoulder, yeah. Or have a little clutch when they go out to the clubs. They like to just have a little clutch. For those of you who don't know what a clutch is, go look it up on Google, because I ain't explaining it here. Anyhow, do you know what I mean? So within their, I guess we'll say, community, they've got kind of a pecking order. They've got it laid out as to who's the manly man and who's the womanly man. Okay, so okay, right on, that makes sense. Okay, we've covered that. We're there. With the women, with women homosexuals, it is kind of the same thing, but of course the difference being is that it's two women. One is more feminine and one is more masculine, and that's where you get the bull dyke. Yes, that's another term they use within the communities to identify the masculine side of a lesbian couple. Okay, so you with me so far? Good. Okay. Now we get into transgender, and that just throws everything on the floor, mixes it all up, and just hoses it down with a hose, and it's all diluted crap all over your floor. That's really what the transgender thing is, because, I look at Gigi here, and I'm like, my God, you're a queen. And it's a boy. Hasn't had the operation. No. He's a boy underneath all that. Yes. He just likes to wear the makeup and the wigs and the I guess the filled breast implant broth. I don't know. I really don't know. But he even says in one of his videos that, it's not my fault that I happen to be better looking than any girl you've ever been with, and you want to be with me. That's just too bad. I'm not doing this for that. Yes, this person claims not to be sexually motivated, and in fact, openly admits he's a boy, although with all his gear off, he looks just like Justin Bieber, which I'm sure is a girl. So I don't know. But looking into this, I came across something that is terrifying me. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, and I'm a manly man with my AR-15 on the wall and my Colt 45 automatics in the drawer, and I'm a manly man, goddammit. Yes. But this scares me. And this comes from a Tyra Banks show that was aired early 2013 about 5 to 8-year-old boys and girls who, well, don't have a clue what sex is at that age, but apparently have made the choice already.
A Tyra Show daytime exclusive. Children, barely in elementary school, bravely living as the opposite gender. Born a girl, but feels she's a boy.
I want everybody to know I'm a boy.
I had a girl, but she's gone now. Born a boy, but feels he's a girl.
My son is gone. Now, this is my daughter.
Did you ever shed tears over it?
Many times over.
The exclusive story of transgender children. Very strong little girl you are. We have not just one, but 2 Tyra Show daytime exclusives that you will not see on any other talk show. Now, back in the day in the past, we met transgender teens, and I remember one that was 13 years old by the name of Chris. Now, Chris is back with us today. Chris was born a girl named Julia, but felt he had no choice but to transition into the body of a boy and become a boy, because Chris says that he is truly a boy. But until today, we have never seen very young transgender children, 7 years old and 8 years old, barely in elementary school, who have already bravely have started living as the opposite gender. Now, take a look at this picture of a little boy named Joey at 5 years old. Joey is now a girl named Josie and is 8 years old now. Now, take a look at this picture of an adorable little girl named Kennedy at age 3. Now, look at this picture. She's now a little boy named Kennedy, kept the name, but changed the sex, and is 7 years old. First, check out 8-year-old Josie's story.
Oh, I know. Pink.
You always choose pink.
I know, but it's my favorite color.
It's hard to imagine Josie being any different. It's just normal for us.
These are my dress, and this is the one I wear. And I have some dolls, and this is what I'm gonna make too. Then I have little pink.
Yes, and it goes on for another 7 or 8 minutes, and it's basically touring, Tyra Banks touring these children's homes, in which, of course, they're showing off their completely sexually opposed bedrooms and their personal items and their new lifestyle at 5, 6, and 7 years old. This kind of makes me think, wait a second. Somebody has to be putting these ideas in these children's head, because psychologically speaking, they are not old enough to understand fully the ramifications of what it is they're now doing in switching their lives completely over to the opposite sex. It almost sounds like someone who is very involved and intensely passionate about a new hobby. And thinking about that, I was like, well, wait a minute. Let's look at that for a second. And good point, Devilon Crawford. She says that I played with G.I. Joes when I was that age. Should I be a boy? Exactly right. I played with Barbie dolls. I played with some of my friends who were girls. I went over to their place and played with their dollhouse. I have no yen to have my penis removed and get a vagina. I have no inclination to go down to the gay bar and pick up some men. Okay? And this kind of goes back to some other things, too. It used to be okay for us to run around with toy guns that were all black and looked real, because we were kids running around with toy guns. But yet nowadays, the police are just shooting and dropping them. Well, they didn't do that 30 and 40 years ago. Why are they doing that now? The only argument I can possibly think is that, oh, well, it's a black thing. You know, the black inner-city kids, you know, they get the guns from their 14-year-old drug-dealing older brothers and take them out and shoot each other and stuff. And that's why we respond that way. Well, that's a little extreme. Just a little bit. Wasn't, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago that that black youngster, that 12-year-old, was gunned down immediately by police upon their arrival after a 911 call in which he kept pulling a gun from his waistband and pointing it at people and swearing and yelling threats at them. The police where I come from wouldn't just hop out of the car and shoot the kid to death. Now, I'm not saying the police acted right or wrong in that particular case. I'm just saying that it's an extreme response. And in dealing with gay rights, there's been a lot of extreme responses. Look at the Westboro Baptist Church, for example. Now, I bring them up again, that they are a religious affiliation, a religious organization. Effed up as they may be, but they protest soldiers' funerals with their gay-hating propaganda. The soldiers, the vast majority in question, aren't even homosexual. Some of them have wives and girlfriends mourning their death at these funerals, but the Westboro Baptist Church thinks it's a good idea because, well, I don't know why. But that's a little extreme, isn't it? Well, we're going to go for another commercial break. We'll come back in 2 minutes, and we'll get into some of these extremes that we're dealing with now. And I have to ask some more questions like, what does it all mean, and what is next? Yeah, I don't know. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
It could be 7 in the morning.
Or 10 at night.
In Chilliwack, BC.
Or St. Peter's, Nova Scotia.
It could be Michelle.
Or Mark.
Or Jen.
But whenever, wherever you order that cup of Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee,
you know that it's always fresh.
From Newfoundland and Labrador to Vancouver Island, Tim Hortons, a coffee all our own.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the Egyptian cotton towels. Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York. Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
In this fast-paced, digital everything life, there's nothing like experiencing the world's finest journalism in its original form. So sign up today for as little as $3.80 a week to receive the greatest newspaper in the world and all the incredible experiences that come with it.
White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Welcome back to the Transgender I Don't Know What I Am Crash Talk this Tuesday, December 30th. Time for a change on HTLARadio1.com. What the hell am I and how do I get more rights for me is the topic of tonight's show. Wow, what a mess. I mean, what a freaking mess. Are you kidding me? A thought just occurred to me during that Maybelline eyebrow commercial. Because that's when I do my best thinking, is when the Maybelline commercials are on. A thought just occurred to me that, maybe this whole PC equality movement across the board is starting to foster what I would refer to as deviant stuff like this. And maybe with those parents out there eating that deviant stuff up are subsequently turning their 5-year-olds into the opposite gender. I mean, I got to put it out there. I mean, what does the psychology actually say? What does it mean? And of course, that was one of the questions I left with before the commercial break. What does it mean? Well, the sexual continuum. Yes, discussing things related to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBT health. That's it. It's a health issue. It's an epidemic. Well, this month, graduate student Laura Cooper published a new study in the Journal of Sex Research that reports on data that they collected from an online sample of transgender individuals. Laura is serving as a guest researcher to describe, of course, what was found in this study. Within the last 15 to 20 years, transgender has expanded to become now an umbrella term applied to a diverse group of individuals whose gender identity or expression differs from what is culturally associated with one's sex and gender. While an increasing number of researchers, organizations, and individuals are using the term, its exact definition and usage remains unclear. Now keep in mind, this is coming from medical researchers and psychologists. Thank you. In order to collect more information, they asked individuals who identified with a gender identity other than their own or in addition to their own, a gender associated with their birth sex, to indicate how they self-identify. They also ask questions about participants' birth sex, age, and desire for hormones or sexual reassignment surgeries. Just bringing you the facts, gang. Just bringing you the facts. As predicted, the results highlighted the diversity and complexity of identity within that transgender umbrella. While transgender male and female gender identities were common, gender queer was the most frequently endorsed, 55% of the sample, actually. Gender queer. And this kind of continues on with my story about the person that's close to me that I know that went through this whole, well, I'm straight, but now I'm lesbian. A couple of weeks later, I'm gender fluid. And then a couple of weeks later, I've gone gender queer. That's what she now says. And what that is that's a girl who falls in love, apparently, with another girl, but that girl is going to be a boy. When I grow up, I'm going to be a boy. Oh, so that's it. I swear, I'm going to string those kids up in a tree somewhere. Don't get on my nerves, kids. I'm trying to figure out what the hell you are. and really, I'm not kidding there. I'm really having issues. It's good to know, though, that I can always rely on Tim Hortons coffee to bring me back to center, damn it. Maybe that's what they need, more coffee. Genderqueer was the most frequently endorsed, 55% of those polled. In total, 24 gender identities were endorsed by 2 or more participants identifying with more than one gender identity. Oh, so yes, it's kind of the flavor of the week. Well, today I'm going to be homosexual. No, tomorrow I'm going to be bisexual. No, I think on Friday I'm going to get it all lopped off and get a vagina. That's what I'm going to do. I don't know. Identify with more than one gender identity. Christ, isn't one enough? Don't we have enough problems with one? What the hell do we want with more than one? I'm lost. Out of a total of 20 sexual orientation identities endorsed, pansexual and queer were most common. That would be the gender queer. Yes. Individuals born female were more likely than those born male to retain their birth sex as a current identity, and were also more likely to identify as a gender queer and queer, but less likely to identify as transsexual or straight. Individuals in the oldest age group, 35 plus, were more likely to identify as a cross-dresser and likely identify as gender queer in comparison to younger age groups. More individuals born female took the survey, 61%, and male-born participants were in the average of 13 years older, the ages of 23 versus 36. Now, although much variation has existed, most participants did not desire or were unsure of their desire to take hormones or undergo sexual reassignment surgery, also known as sex affirmation or gender confirmation surgery. Now, of these procedures, the greatest number reported being currently on hormones were 20%, with having undergone bottom surgery was rare at only 2%. Those born male reported greater interest in bottom surgery. Well, of course, it's like my little fantasy there back in the beginning of the show. I wake up and I got a vagina. What am I going to do? I'm going to play with it all day. Yes. Also included other procedures, laser hair removal and facial feminization. Wow. See, we're breaking new ground here at Crash Talk tonight, gang. I didn't know there was something called facial feminization, but there you go. These results add to a growing number of studies highlighting shifts in how transgender individuals identify themselves and relate to their physical self. In particular, previous research has suggested that individuals identifying as genderqueer view their identity as a reflection of the complexity of gender embodiment and expression, and as a way to challenge the male-female gender binary. Okay, interesting point here. What they're saying is some of them are actually trying to offshoot into a new sex now. Now this is nature, gang. Yeah, that happens in nature. They're genetic mutations when various life forms start to branch off in another realm where the original DNA was not originally present with. So now we get these guys and girls who are kind of going off into this beyond gender binary, i.e. male-female. Now there's another one. Yes, and I have seen a couple of documentaries on a couple of these cases, and they're interesting because these people have elements of men in the way they dress and present themselves. They have elements of women in the way they dress and present themselves. And then they have elements of something else I can't put my freaking finger on or in or around. And they consider themselves beyond gender binary. And man, you thought old Crash Talk was lost before the commercial break. Now I'm not coming back. I'm just done. Similarly, the transgender individuals may be likely to represent their sexual orientation in non-binary ways, such as queer and pansexual, given these labels don't reference their own sex or gender, which may be in transition, fluid, or not easily captured by gay, lesbian, or heterosexual identity labels. We suggest that the increasing availability of information and support for transgender individuals, growth of the internet, for an example, has been a major influence in such shifts. In addition, transgender mental health professionals have made efforts to reduce the barriers imposed by the screening process that occurs prior to transition to make the process more client-focused. In other words, taking down some of the 200 barriers and 10 years waiting time to get your penis taken away and get that vagina you've always wanted for the weekend. Taken together, it's important to find ways to acknowledge and respect the transgender individual's unique experiences of gender and sexuality, particularly within a larger society where they often remain misunderstood. Yeah, I got my hand up over here. Or completely silenced. Several limitations of this study are important to note. Given that the data was collected online using social networking websites and listservs, these participants may represent a unique subgroup of transgender individuals. While individuals from urban, suburban, and rural areas throughout the country participated, more were white and reported higher levels of education than the general population. A great introductory... well, I'm not even going to go there because that's kind of unrelated. But the important thing in that last sentence there was the rural areas. More were white and reported higher levels of education than the general population. So it's an interesting side note to the research, isn't it? I mean, I think it is. Let's stop and think about this now. And I don't normally do this on Crash Talk. I really don't. I would be ripping them a couple of new ones for free. You don't even have to pay me for the surgery. Come on, that was good. But as I kind of qualified in the beginning of the show, I don't have anything against these people. You know, I treat people at face value. What they give me is what they get back. And when you have somebody who presents you in a certain way, you take it for what it is and you carry on. If that person's going to do something to harm you, if that person's going to do something to anger you, it doesn't have anything to do with what may or may not be between their legs or what they may think about having sex with chickens or anything else. All that kind of stuff is, well, it kind of doesn't matter in day-to-day life, which really raises the question, why is there all this gay rights and transgender and transsexual rights? And transsexuals have to get married too. And then there's the new transsexual, which is, you know, screw this whole sexuality binary thing. No, I'm having sex with the beings of light. Or whatever it is. I mean, what, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And yes, I'm twitching too, Dev. So there that is. There it is, for what it's worth. And you know, it begs the question. Well, it begs an endless tirade of questions. But the other question that it comes to mind to good old Crash here is, what's next? NAMBLA? Yeah, you heard me. Is that what we're going to see now? You know, the gay rights, the gays can get married and adopt children. Yeah, that's a good idea. That won't screw any new kids coming along up, will it? Nope. Absolutely freaking not. I beg to differ on that. There's a problem there. The National Man-Boy Love Association, or is it the North American? Yes, North American, NAMBLA. North American Man-Boy Love Association. This is a group, a club, a gang, I don't know what the hell you want to call them, of men who not only think it's okay to have sex with young boys, but that it's actually preferred. And don't be confused here. This isn't just sodomy and criminal rape. No. No, these men love these boys. Yes, they do, as only a sick mother-frickin' bastard could. They love it. But here's the thing. Now, here's the question. We allow gay rights? Absolutely. Come on out. We allow transgender and transsexual rights. Yes, let's do that. We're even going to be considering the alien sex people. Yes. Well, we don't have sex in this little binary way. No, go away. We have sex with beings of light from the universe. Oh. Once they get rights, you can't tell me that groups like NAMBLA won't be petitioning the Supreme Court of this fine country and many others to get NAMBLA rights. We have the right to young boys. And why isn't that okay? 30, 40, 50 years ago, transgenders would be beaten to death. Heck, I'll go one further. 50, 60 years ago, homosexuals were beaten to death. And a lot of people in the religious community say it's an abomination against mankind. There's even some in the scientific community who prescribe that to that ideology as well. Because scientifically, it's extinction events. Yes, because if all the women are with the women and all the men are with the men, guess what? Human race, gone. No more kids. And that's no good because NAMBLA would have no more kids. My point is, why is all of these things that have never been okay now all of a sudden okay? And in an age now where, the Ku Klux Klan has whittled down to only, I think, 7,500 members nationwide in this country, are we going to bring them back? They have a right, don't they? Just like NAMBLA, just like the transsexuals, just like the gays. Everybody's got the right, don't they? If Hitler were alive today, he'd be rolling over happy. He'd be dancing in the streets. Do you know why? Because everything he'd be about to do is okay. Oh, Hitler, yeah, he's a socialist. That's okay. Let's do it. Going for the last commercial break. When we come back, Hitler and all kinds of more fun stuff.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Love spring wedding.
No, can't wait for the reception.
Hey, what time do we have to be there?
Not till 6:30. We've got some time.
Want to grab a snack?
Not enough. I'm starving. I need like an actual lunch. Yeah, like a sandwich.
Why don't we go to Tim's? Do you think there's one around here? Obviously.
It's lunch done right with Tim Hortons' new turkey chipotle sandwich on a perfectly toasted cheese bagel. Just $3.99 for a limited time.
Always Tim Hortons.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
I always said shoes are like women. They inspire beautiful music.
But what about these?
Stilettos sound like this.
What does my fragrance inspire?
That's got soul.
My ties are beautiful. They don't need music.
Bringing the stars together. That's the magic of Macy's.
In this fast-paced, digital everything life, There's nothing like experiencing the world's finest journalism in its original form. So sign up today for as little as $3.80 a week to receive the greatest newspaper in the world and all the incredible experiences that come with it.
The hot new accessory, brows that wow. New from Maybelline, New York, it's Brow Drama, our first sculpting ball brush with tinted gel. Just sweep, then sculpt for bolder, sculpted brows. New Brow Drama. Get the look at Maybelline.com.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Praise Jesus. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Christ Jesus is with you, damn boy. If it's okay for you to be transgender, I'm going to be a hillbilly from Kentucky. Yes. Well, now I think it's time for my thought for the day. Yes. my thought for the day. Yes. Time for a change, you say? I say no way. Oh, but I'm gay. And I don't care. What's that? You're transgender? Well, change your underwear. You're part of NAMBLA. Having sex with all them young boys who should be out playing with Bobby and their toys. Well, I don't know about you, but I've had enough. The PC bandwagon can start heading away and never come back to CRASHTalk's place. Just get out of here. Get. Anyway, yeah, enough of that. Oh, don't do that. No. Yeah, I don't know, folks. I don't know the answer here. I don't even know who to be mad at. You know, I feel like I should be mad at somebody, but I don't know who. And God, with half of this now, I don't even know what. What is it? We don't know. We're just lost in the freaking ether of the PCBS pendulum. Well, I will submit that, of course, as we all know from a very young age, probably about that age when we decide at 5 that we're going to be opposite to whatever is in our pants, that's when we make that decision. It's time for a change, man. I don't get it. And I probably never will. To be quite honest with you, you know, I've read research reports. I've looked into this. I've talked to people. I've talked to transgender people themselves, transsexuals. I've talked to people that are pre-op, people that are post-op. I've talked to my gay friends and had very serious and open discussions with them about it. They don't understand it either. And when you're confusing a group that is confused by this thing that most of the country is still confused about them being gay, and then, of course, the gays are confused about transsexuals and indeed surpassing that whole binary, that stupid, boring binary sex thing that we have going on as humans. It asks another question. Are we wrong? Are these transgenders actually DNA advancements of the human race? Will we evolve to 3 sexes or more? Is gender fluid an actual technical and very tack-sharp descriptive of what the future actually holds for humanity itself? Well, it's a good question, but it's certainly not going to get answered here, so I am out for tonight. I want to thank HTLA for having me and thank all my listeners and everybody else out there, whoever you may be, whatever you may be. You guys have a good Tuesday, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Coffee and cigarettes, 3 p.m. Eastern on New Year's Eve. Until next week, I'm out.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1, New York.